Live from Signal Hill, you're watching KTIV, Siouxland's news channel. This is News 4 Today.
Good morning, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is a wintry Friday morning in Siouxland. 5:30 is the time. There's more than 8 inches of snow on the ground in Sioux City, and it is still coming down. The winds are blowing too. This morning, we have team coverage. KTIV's Michelle Schoening is with Live Link 4 in Dakota Dunes. Meteorologists TJ Springer and Jarrett Lansford are here inside and outside the studio with the very latest. And TJ, we start with you. It is still storming this morning.
It is still coming down now, thank you. Yes, quite the wintry scene. It looks like some lighter snow, maybe just a couple of flurries here on our Spencer Skycam over Grand Avenue. Still looking quite wintry, but boy, check out Norfolk, 25 degrees, visibility quite low. The view from our Sugar Plum Oak Skycam, and here in Sioux City, the view from Signal Hill, very wintry, very white, and Old Man Winter, boy, has brought the wallop to us. 28 degrees, taking a peek outside your door in Sioux City. Wind chills in the teens due to those northerly winds at about 25 miles per hour. Here is Storm Track 4, seeing that snow coming down fairly heavy here in those deeper shades of blue. That is heavy snow. We're going to see the heavy snow continue, seeing some kind of right along Madison and the Stanton County line there, and some heavy snow kind of making its way through Union County. We're going to see this progress on to the south and east as we step throughout the rest of our morning. But as Al mentioned, over 8 inches of snow here in Sioux City. Sioux Gateway Airport breaking a record of 5.5 inches set back in 1924. Here at the KTIV studios, just over a half a foot, under a half a foot at Lamar's and Spirit Lake, as well as in Sioux Falls and Sheldon. But the visibility is a big story this morning. Snow coming down, gusty winds creating visibility near a mile in Norfolk, less than a mile here in Sioux City, about a mile and a half in Denison and Tacoma. And the winds, we can kind of thank them for the visibilities being quite low, kind of being sustained out of the north at about 25 to 30 miles an hour or so. But our gusts have been even higher, cracking just above 30 in O'Neill, but above 40 miles an hour in Storm Lake, a 36-mile-an-hour recording here in Sioux City, trying to usher in some colder temperatures, falling temperatures all throughout the area. 26 in Wayne, 21 in O'Neill, middle 20s in Spencer. Now, here's the wider glance at the system. Still pulling off towards the north and east, but we still have a bit to go as this heavy snow begins to kind of taper off some as we step throughout the rest of our morning. And we see that here excuse me, on Storm Team 4, our future track, we see the snow trying to taper off and lighten up as we step into our lunch hour, and really improving as we step into our evening, clearing skies much nicer. Now, Jarrett, I know he's out there on the weather patty. We have these blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings. What are you seeing out there right now?
Well, you know, TJ, some people wake up with a cup of coffee. I like to step out into a blizzard. It really gets you nice and awake in the morning with getting the wind in your face. But if you're out on the roads, it's not such a good thing. You're looking at those pink colors. Well, that's the complete coverage on our roads, and the blue color is our partial coverage. So roads are not looking very good, and it's going to continue to be that way as we go through the morning hours. Complete coverage with the snow continuing to come down through the noon hour. Now we're going to have that start to come to a little bit of a close as we get into the afternoon. That's going to get our roads a little bit better. So if you can wait to get on the roads, you'll want to do that until later in the day. So here's a look at our timeline here. We're going to have the heavier snow in the early morning. And as we go through the morning, we'll continue to see that snow coming down. Then it'll start to get to some more flurries as we get into the late afternoon and the evening. Temperature staying steady in the 20s, but right now, if you cannot travel at all, it's a good idea, TJ.
Great advice there, Jarrett. Yeah, we can still tack on a couple more inches out of this system here. The plus is we are trying to wind this thing on down, but we could still add maybe another inch or so, maybe upwards of 3 inches possible as we move throughout the rest of our Friday. So adding to the already heavy totals that we are seeing around Siouxland. But make sure you can track the storm and stay updated on the new and improved Storm Team 4 weather app available at the App Store. 33 degrees today. Blizzard conditions likely. Already hit that high temperature at midnight this past night here. 13 degrees tonight. Patchy blowing snow. And for our Saturday, much improvement. 30 degrees, calming winds. And we stay on that improving trend. 37 by Sunday. In the upper 30s. 40s Al come Tuesday. Maybe another chance of a wintry mix, but improvement for sure.
All right, that wind is really blowing that snow out there this morning, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. I, like many of us, will be glad when it's over.
I think so.
But it's not yet. All right, TJ, thanks a lot. We're joined now by KTIV's Michelle Schoening. She is with Live Link 4 in Dakota Dunes, South Dakota. And Michelle, how's it looking where you are right now?
Well, Al, we are really out in the elements now. We are right in Dakota Dunes, just off the exit, the interstate kind of behind me to my left. But really, the wind is blowing. The snow's coming right at my face, and it's just a little bit hard to see right now. I'm not going to lie to you. But us driving up the interstate, we were going about 40 miles an hour. Really, if you have to drive, just take it slow out there. We did also just see a plow going off the ramp here at Dakota Dunes, circling back around and going back on the interstate. So again, we are seeing those plows out on those main roads. Those side streets are the ones that you might need to watch this morning. Give a little extra time. Let the plows get to these priority 1 roads before the priority 2 and 3. So if you have to go out today and this morning, just give yourself a little extra time out there. Those main roads that we are seeing so far on our drive this morning, they have been covered, but clear enough that if you take it slow, you should be okay. Al?
That was my experience too, driving in this morning. The streets have been cleared of the main drags and the highways, and the snow wasn't accumulating on top of them real quick, so it is passable, and we just saw another plow go by behind you there, but they've been doing a great job making it so we can get to where we need to go today.
Yeah, we really have been seeing the plows out this morning in both downtown Sioux City, and now, again, as you just mentioned, Al, you just saw another plow going up the exit here at Dakota Dunes. So the plows are out, but again, just give yourself a little extra time, especially with the blowing snow and the visibility.
All right, our Facebook friends are starting to weigh in. I think they're getting a little sassy, too. They say that, that you and Jarrett have street cred because you're out in the elements, and TJ and I are here in the studio where I think it's, what, 72, 71 degrees?
Yeah,
in here,
I'll confirm
TJ.
that out. It is,
you poor things.
You guys are doing great. Hey, Michelle, you and Keith, take care. We'll check back in. Keith running the camera. We'll check back in with you in just a few minutes.
Yep.
Thanks, Michelle. Driving conditions deteriorated as that heavy snow was moving through the region yesterday. Here's what things look like in Dakota Dunes, where Michelle is right now. Last night, drivers were taking it slow as the streets started accumulating that snow around 6 p.m. You could see the snow coming down hard in the high winds. Some drivers were filling up before the worst of the blizzard moved in. You could already see snow starting to cover their cars. Plows are out there trying to keep the streets safe. And South Dakota residents started stocking up on the essentials yesterday. At Cubby's in Dakota Dunes, registers were busy all afternoon as people were making sure they had their fridges full. But food, not the only thing people are buying before the snow. Some also made sure their gas tanks were full. For any closings or delays, and there are many of them, as you know, Sioux City schools are closed. South Sioux City schools closed. Many schools closed today. That information's running at the bottom of your screen and on our website at KTIV.com. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment with the latest. There's a live view from our Signal Hill sky cam, and then another car heading up Floyd Boulevard. The streets are passable, but as Michelle said, you need to slow down this morning.
Well, old man winter has returned after a snowy day yesterday. We're still seeing that snow. 25 in Norfolk from the Sugar Plum Oak sky cam. The view very wintry, very snowy and white, and similar here in Sioux City from Signal Hill. Taking a peek outside your door, 28 degrees, cloudy conditions, a wind chill in the teens. We haven't felt that in quite a while due to these northerly winds at about 25 miles per hour. Storm Track 4 indicating still heavy snow working its way to the south and east. This is what we call the deformation band, but a sign that the storm is winding down, but still heavy snow. We're not out of the woods just yet. Still going to see more of this through our morning, but we have broken a record here in Sioux City. These are some of the totals thus far. Smashing a record of 5.5 inches set back in 1924. Here at KTIV, just over a half a foot, and some lesser amounts just under a half a foot at Spiro Lake Sheldon, around 4 inches. But the big story, travel not being advised this morning due to the blowing snow. Visibility is quite low, just over a mile in Yankton, less than a half a mile here in Sioux City, about 2.5 in Denison, 5 in Spencer. So we're really not advising you to get out on the roadways. I know travel is a must, but if you do, just take it slow. Wind speeds aiding in the travel, the treacherous travel. Winds sustained at about 20 to 30 miles an hour or so out of the north, but gusts have been even higher. 36 miles an hour here in Sioux City, a 25-mile-an-hour recording in Wayne, Nebraska. Trying to pull in some colder air, temperatures falling in O'Neill, 21 degrees, currently 28 in Denison, middle 20s out towards Spencer, as well as Estherville. Here's the wider glance of the system that I was talking about. We're not done with it just yet. We'll step it through the rest of the morning here on Future Track to time it out, put it in motion. We see that we'll have the snow around through our lunch hour, still kind of moderate in some spots, but flurries and snow showers likely into our evening, but finally coming to an end, clearing out, improving as we step into our Saturday. Much more sunshine as well, but we still have these winter storm warnings in the purple, blizzard warnings in the orange, a winter weather advisory for Shelby County. Still a lot to go. Heavy snow and winds being combined, not making it too great out there. Jarrett's feeling it. What are you seeing out there, buddy? How is it looking?
Yeah, TJ, we're continuing to see the snow come down, and with the wind, that's making for some pretty rough conditions on our roads right now. We can take a look at our graphic. There's a whole lot of purple. The purple is completely covered on our map, and so travel is just not a great idea. If you have to travel, just make sure you're taking it very slowly out there. But things are going to be improving as we go through the day. We're going to continue to see the snow, and we're looking at the heavy snow in the morning hours, and then as we go a little bit later on in the day, we'll see that lightening up with just some flurries by the time we get to the afternoon. So if you could just wait until later in the day, that's when you're looking at the best conditions for travel. So the heavy snow continues this morning, and then we'll have that snow through the morning hours, a little bit of some flurries as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, but temperatures staying steady in the 20s. The worst conditions are going to be this morning, TJ.
Thanks, Jared. You're in the thick of it right now, so Godspeed out there, buddy. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. But yes, it is, as Jared just mentioned, not the greatest out there. The timeline will improve, but we still could tack on a few more inches before it's all said and done here. These are the future track snow totals, maybe a half inch or so across some parts of Siouxland, almost 3 here in Sioux City, a little above it. So watch out for a few more inches before this thing begins to finally wind down and come to a close. But you can track the storm at home. Make sure you stay updated with your Storm Team 4 weather app, which you can get on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Today, though, we've already hit our high temperature, falling temperature today. Blizzard conditions likely. We'll fall back towards 13 tonight with that patchy blowing snow. Much improvement on our Saturday, 30 degrees, calming winds, more sunshine, and we start another warming trend. 30s Monday, 40s by the time we get to Tuesday, Al. So better.
All right, and it's that wet snow that sticks to everything too.
It does. Good snowball snow, though.
Yeah, and it's good snowball snow, that's for sure, or snowman snow. But your windshield wipers ice up easily on days like this, and just be careful out there.
Good advice.
Thanks, TJ.
You bet.
We'll take a break, but still ahead. When you dial 911 today, a lot goes on behind the scenes, and technology plays an ever important role. How high-tech's getting you help faster. Let's take a look as we head into the break at the live scene from our Skycam in Spencer, Iowa. That's Grand Avenue / US Highway 71. One lone car heading south this morning.
You're watching KTIV, Siouxland's news channel, with Al Jones, Michelle Schoening, and meteorologist TJ Springer. This is News 4 Today.
Welcome back. It's 5:46. Law enforcement has come a long way since the days of the Old West when your local sheriff rode around on a horse wielding a six-shooter looking for outlaws. There's now a lot of high-tech involved when it comes to keeping you safe. KTIV's Tiffany Lane is digging deeper into just what happens when you dial 911 and how high-tech is getting you help faster.
Technology has come a long way since many of us grew up when radio dispatching was the most technically advanced way to get help. Now, in the 21st century, a high-tech dance between caller, dispatcher, and officer takes place every time you call for help. Sioux City, Iowa. A calm Monday afternoon. That is until...
Adam 5, where's he at?
Two people decide to make a run for it during a traffic stop. To Sioux City Police Officer Kevin Erickson, it's just a normal day, protecting the streets of Little Chicago. But exactly how did he know where to go? Let's rewind for a second to where it all began, at the Communications Center.
This is 911. Where's your emergency?
Say hello to dispatcher Eric. His voice could be the first one you hear when you need help.
Can you tell me exactly what happened there?
Now, thanks to mobile technology, he can get an officer on the way to you before he ever hangs up the phone.
We generally have 4 or 5 dispatchers on duty, and as we take the calls, we enter the information into the computer, and then based upon the address of the call, the computer knows where that should be routed, whether it's to a Sioux City police officer, a Sioux City fire engine, and we dispatch those calls both over the radio and in Sioux City and Woodbury County over mobile data computers that are in the squad cars.
This is the Mobile Data Browser, or MDB. This is how the information from Eric reaches each Sioux City police officer as they patrol the streets. The display shows what the call is, the address, and the priority.
Because we have multiple dispatchers on duty, one person might be on the phone taking the information from the caller, and at the same time, another dispatcher in the room is dispatching the call out to the ambulance or the police officer.
Now back to our traffic call. Officer Erickson and I were on our way to the scene where 2 people ran away during a traffic stop. While on the way, thanks to the information on the MDB, we knew quickly that they were no longer on the run.
It'll show you one in custody. and then the second one's in custody.
By not having to go all the way to the scene to find that out, the MDB frees up valuable time and man hours that can quickly add up. Our dispatcher, Eric, works at the Woodbury County Communications Center. They get up to 25,000 calls a month, at least 17,000 of which need law enforcement officials to be dispatched. With as many calls as the police department has to respond to, the MDB helps prioritize calls by their importance level.
Let's see, we got red, that's a priority one, so like the fight that we went to. We've got the greens, and then we've got yellow. The blues aren't really important. Those just kind of tell you if you have like a phone message, or we have off-duty officers that are working security.
During our ride, we knew to go to an alleged gang fight because that came up as a priority call on the call list in the computer. We also responded to a hit and run. That's where high-tech came in play again. Erickson used a program called Traffic Reporting and Criminal Software, or TRACS, to file the report.
This is basically what we'd have to fill out by hand, but this, everything, especially with scanning on your back of your driver's license. So if you have your driver's license out and you look at that scan right there, we can scan that, and all your information that's on the front of your driver's license will go into the computer system. It's the same way if we're writing you a citation or anything like that.
Now, another piece of technology the police department uses is a video viewer. Now, you can hear everything I'm saying through this body mic, and you're seeing me through a camera that's on the windshield of the car, and a camera in the back of the car to show any interaction between police and the public.
Anything that would happen would be documented visually. So if there were any altercation or anything that happened during that traffic contact, it would all be recorded.
The recording would begin anytime an officer turns it on, once the vehicle passes a certain speed, or if the emergency lights are turned on. If that happens and they need to respond to a call, they can rely on another piece of mobile high-tech to get to the location quickly. The Mobile Architecture for Communications Handling Program, or MOC. It shows not only where your police car is, but also where all other law enforcement vehicles are at any given time throughout Iowa. And it can help you get to your destination faster.
We are represented by this little bubble that says my employee number, my name, what vehicle I'm driving, so police SUV. So you can see exactly where I'm at. It also shows where other officers are at, so say there's a priority call and the officer's not answering up. We can look at this system to find out where their vehicle's at, and that's kind of a helpful tool in case of an emergency situation.
But information wasn't always this easy to access when dealing with police calls. Sergeant Mike Manthorn has been with the Sioux City Police Department for 22 years and says the technology now makes responding to calls more efficient.
When we first started, our computers were capable of doing mostly dispatching, so we could get calls, get information regarding calls, and that was pretty much what it was limited to start out with.
So what's next for mobile technology in law enforcement?
I think the advancement in tablets, you're going to see more and more officers being able to take reports directly onto a tablet-based system that they can remove from the squad car and actually do a lot of their work while they're speaking with the complainant or victim.
Another way that Erickson and other officers will be able to keep residents safe as they continue patrolling the streets of Sioux City. There can be as many as 13 officers patrolling Sioux City at a time. That's at least one in each of Sioux City's 9 districts. Officials say the computer and cameras in each squad car cost about $4,000 total. They also pay for additional data storage for some of the programs they use. And they say there's definitely the additional cost benefit when you look at how much more efficiently they can handle calls. Tiffany Lane, KTIV News 4.
Now, of the 25,000 calls the Woodbury County Communications Center receives each month, 5,400 are 911 calls. About 2,300 of those are priority calls, which include things like life-threatening situations such as medical emergencies, domestic disturbances, and personal injury accidents. 16,500 are non-emergency calls. Time for us to take a break. For more information on any closings or delays, check the bottom of your screen. We're running them all. You can also go straight to our website, KTIV.com, for the full list. Many schools are closed on this wintry Friday morning in Siouxland. Here's a live look from our Skycam in Norfolk, Nebraska, where the winds are still howling on this wintry Friday morning.
And we are waking up to more snow this morning, trying to wind it on down, but still heavy snow being seen here on Storm Track 4. A nice band beginning to move its way onto the south and east. So watch out for heavy snow as this system is not done with us just yet, but starting to wind it on down here. But due to the snow, road conditions treacherous this morning. Lots of pink shadings and even some purple. That is travel not advised in north central Iowa, and much of the area, much of Siouxland is completely covered out there. So we're not advising travel. If you can, stay off those area roadways. But this is Future Track trying to set it all in motion, time out the rest of our Friday morning. We see some improvement, I should say, as we step into our Friday afternoon, and maybe a few flurries into the mid-afternoon. Then we finally start to see the snow pulling out of here towards our evening, clearing skies, setting up for a much nicer Saturday as high pressure begins to build in. So it's going to be much more pleasant tomorrow, but we're not out of the woods just yet. Blizzard warning still in effect here in the orange. Winter storm warnings for a little less wind in the purple. Still that winter weather advisory in effect for Shelby County. All of this lasting into later on tonight, and we can still tack on a couple more inches before it's all said and done. I'm thinking maybe about 1 to 3, the best bet, maybe a little over 3 in Wayne, but all in all, improving as we step throughout the rest of our day. Temperatures have already hit our highs earlier on tonight. Blizzard conditions still likely today. Falling temperatures, snow heavy at times early. We'll dip back towards 13 tonight. Patchy blowing snow, and for our Saturday, much more improvement. 30 degrees, calming winds, and as we step into the next 7 days out, much nicer 40s on Tuesday and Thursday.
Everybody's pointing out, didn't we hit 73 degrees 2 days ago?
We did.
71 degrees.
I think it was 71.
We broke records 2 days in a row for it being so warm and nice. And
yes.
Boom, here we go.
Like that, snowstorm.
Right. Be careful out there because it is still, it doesn't look like that much is coming down, but it's nonstop and that wind is really making it tough. And out in the country especially.
Yeah, just whipping it all around.
Thanks, TJ. Coming up in our third half hour, some tips to keep you safe when winter storms hit. Also, we'll check in with KTIV's Michelle Schoening. She's with Live Link 4. She was in downtown Sioux City, then Dakota Dunes. We'll find out where she is after this. Let's take a look through the eye of one of our sky cams. This is our Signal Hill sky cam on the north side of Sioux City. Not a whole lot of activity out on the streets yet this morning, this wintry Friday morning in Siouxland.